We apologize, and honestly, we're going to make it up to you. It was just for the fact that we were trying to put some things together so that we can give you a good show. My name is Cassandra Yunumbe, your media chick, and it's another Tuesday here on radio. Remember, I hinted earlier that we're going to have a guest on the show today to talk to us about something very important. Now, it's one thing for you to gather your money, wanting to buy a car, own a car, and say, oh, I bought my first car and everything. There are some things that you need to know before. It's not just about having the money to buy that car. It's about making the right choices, the right decision. The car ownership, the type of car you go for, to know how you need to go about it. Very important. And this brings us to the fact that buying your first car is a big deal. It might be like it's freedom, progress, but one wrong move can change it all for you. And that is why today on the show, we want to change that story so that you don't get to make a wrong move when you want to purchase your first car. And I'm hoping that you are going to stay to the end of the show. Remember, I said earlier today on the show that 2026, I see a lot of first-time car owners, and I'm rooting for you. So if you're one of those people, if you believe in that, why not? And that being said, today on Top Gear, we're going to have someone, an expert in his field, someone I would say that I think when he's coming, cars already know that the boss is here. I'm talking about Mr. Kohol, or he chooses to call himself Don Kohol. He is the founder of Kohol Motors Limited. Good evening, sir, and thank you for joining us right here on Eagles FM.
Wow, Cassandra, that was a wonderful introduction. I'm really happy to be here today, and the energy I can see is really high. And then, good evening, viewers, and then our listeners. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I hope to learn more about cars.
We hope to learn more about cars together. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Kohol. And he's so right. Yes, viewers, because we are live on Facebook. I do not know what you're waiting for. Eagles FM on Facebook and YouTube. And like I said, distance is not a barrier. Don't tell me that you've gone out of our town for the Christmas holiday and you're finding it difficult to listen to Eagles FM. You can listen to us via www.eaglesfm.com. So, all right, Mr. Kohol, let's talk about cars. I said something that's it's about some people, for them getting their first car. In fact, I think for everybody, except if maybe you grew up seeing cars and everybody. Even if you grew up seeing cars, owning your own, like calling it your car, comes with a different feeling. And for some people, they have to put their money bit by bit before they can arrive at this point. Yes. And one mistake would cost you everything that you've been saving for months or even years. Let's talk about car ownership, first-time car ownership. What it is it like? Yes, let's talk about that first.
Well, for starters, I would advise the first car owners. One thing I always tell them is that once they walk in, you can feel them because there's always that excitement, that enthusiasm. Yeah. So I always advise first-time owners, please go easy when you're going for your first car. Some of them come with very, very peculiar responses. Some want their cars like immediately, no. And we know the economy right now. Most people can't afford to buy brand new cars in Nigeria. They go for what they call the Tokumbo, that is a foreign used, or like most on other part of the spectrum go for what we call the Nigerian used, that is the second-handed. Okay. So when you're going for this kind of vehicles, it's always good to just be patient enough and do your due diligence and do your research. For those getting what we call the bedroom, the Tokumbos vehicles, the first things first you should be bothered about is get what we call the VIN number. Otherwise, other people call the chassis number. That is a vehicle number. Get it first so that it's very easy. Copy the chassis number on the vehicle. Sometimes you see it by the door side, or sometimes you see it by the glass, beneath the glass, or sometimes you see it some rare cases like in some places. But get the VIN number, put it on your Google search. These days, internet is everywhere. Just search the vehicle. This will now enable you to know the history of the car from America. Sometimes these cars are bought up from an auction. Okay. So if you impute this chassis number on your Google search or any search engine on your phone or on your device or smart device, that enables you to see what we call the history of the vehicle. Okay. You see the accident history, you see the first owners in America, and you see how it was imported to Nigeria. So most of the time, these records terminate in Lagos. So, but that will not help you to know whether the car had a severe accident, because due to the fact that cars are not expensive, most buyers, dealers rather import accidented vehicles. Some accidents are not too bad, some are too bad. So when you buy a car that was severely impacted from the abroad, you will see that over a long time you might have to do some repairs. Then for those buying what we call the second hand or the Nigerian used vehicles, first things first, you have to be security conscious. A lot of theft is going around. So before you go for those vehicles, our advice, usually you request to see the registration. So what VIO or road safety has done is that they usually provide numbers of previous owners.
Okay.
I've had a scenario whereby someone came and I was like, let me see the number so that I can call. The guy didn't want, but we insisted, we called. The man was like, my brother, they stole my car last week.
You don't say.
So we had to find a way to stall this guy, because they had already taken this woman's car. They were trying to sell it back to someone, but I think they had the documents, had everything. But putting across that particular call could save you a lot. So before you go for any Nigerian used vehicle, and ensure that you speak to the previous owner on phone. And VIO too have been helping on that. Before you transfer the ownership, they also call the previous owner. It was so car sold. So in that case, you avoid theft. Then for the mechanical aspect, for first-time owners, it's quite difficult. For long-time car owners, it's quite easy because they've already been used to owning cars and they have quote-unquote a fair idea of what they want. So, but if you're not careful, if you're not sure of what you actually want, go with someone who knows what. Preferably go with a mechanic, so that he can help you see what you cannot see. Because normally there's that excitement that comes with buying a car. You want to just get it home, drive home, and then do the obli or whatever. But please, my advice still remains: be patient. Like, do your due diligence. You can never. In fact, you have not owned a car for your life. A week or two of delay won't stop you for anything. Just take your time and get what you think is suffice for you.
Okay, now everything that you said so far, patience stands out for me. And you said something, due diligence. Even as you wanted to sell, you still had to make some calls to confirm that this vehicle was not stolen. There are some people that they will be some dealers might be so caught up in, like, my own is just to make sales now. But I think it comes with credibility for you wanting to verify where that car is coming from. I think that was what you said.
Yeah, so like we all know dealership or selling cars is all about sales as well. So that's why we always encourage people to go to verified dealers. Like, for instance, if you go into a car stand and a car mart which is named and you interact with the people there who they're working there, they wouldn't want to put their organization in bad light or put themselves in bad light. But there's some other salesmen out there, like you said, who are also just keen on just making the little peanuts. But if you're in for the long haul, there are some people who don't care about what the future holds. But if you're in for because most of the times, for my own case, for instance, where I make bulk of my money is from returning clients. Because I at least find new clients working in most of the times. But if you had just one client and you treated him right, so that such a client will bring back his friends, his family, that buy from this dealer, he's honest, is that, is this. So most of the profit I make comes from my returning clients. So, but you're right, some people just want to make that quick cash and all, but that's why I advise people be patient, know who you're dealing with, and then get the address so that you don't fall into the wrong hand. Because some people might just want to, because it involves a lot of money. We've had several cases, I wouldn't want to go into details. There was a case of a salesman, rather, someone who called, sometimes via referrals.
Okay.
Someone called somebody, a friend of mine who had his own car, for me that his brother was coming to pay. Long story cut short, he told those guys that my friend was his brother. So if I gave my friend the car to sell, so they should not negotiate price with him, they should negotiate with him on the phone. So he also told my friend also another different story, that those people are his brother. So whatever he's telling, they will do. This guy finally found a way to take money from the buyers where he was, and the buyers were like, "Top, give us our car." My brother was like, "Top." My friend brother was like, "I haven't received money for payment." It took hours of police case. So that's what I'm saying. Always ensure you do your due diligence before you make payments. So due diligence, and then there are so many other factors I believe you can get into, your budget and others. So, but first things first, I tell people, always be patient when getting your cars, because the money you have saved could have taken you years, if not months, to make, but you can lose it like that if you're not careful.
Just a twinkle of an eye.
Yes.
So it's important that you are patient and at the same time you conduct due diligence. Okay, let's talk about budgeting, because like you said, a lot of Nigerian first-time car owners have to put in so much of money, so much of saving to be able to afford what I would say their dream cars. Now, how would you talk about the budgeting for anyone who's aspiring to be a first-time car owner and it's difficult for them, but they earn a decent salary and they want to afford a car or buy a car? How can they go about it as regards budgeting? What are some cars that you recommend? But before we come to the cars that you would recommend, let's talk about the saving aspect and then moving on to the type of car that you would advise first-time owners to buy.
Okay. In Nigeria, for instance, like in other clients, people have access to credit, but we know here credit is quite difficult to get, and mortgages are quite hard, except for those who are working, and even for those working is for those. We have other dealerships currently, I could mention a few, but due to time and adverts, that are actually taking down payments. Like you could drop some money and then get a vehicle, and then you pay instrumentally later and stuff. But we know 80% of the times you have to walk up to the car dealership with your 100% cash upfront and then pick your car, except you have an understanding with the dealer who is maybe a friend or a brother or someone. But there's some other packages out there, but they are only for working people. So if you are, like, let's say a business owner or an average Nigerian who can't afford that, or you're on payroll because you have to come from a salary, you have to like put your money up front and go there. So my advice is that most Nigerians always want something bigger than what they can literally afford. So always ensure they stay within your confines. Like there are some cars that could tell you for that budget you have, but because I want to show them, like you
I've
go
arrived.
for it. I've arrived. Like for instance, there are some cars that look quite luxurious and are quite cheap, but are high maintenance. So you a first time owner going to get a very luxurious car that is very high in maintenance, because you find out that some of those cars are actually cheap, but the maintenance will just freak you. So meanwhile, those other cars that will last you longer may not be appealing, like the popular Toyota Corollas and the rest. Like they're not sometimes appealing, but they're expensive, but the maintenance are quite low and are durable.
Okay, so like they're expensive for the first buy, but when you start using it, you understand the maintenance is low. The cost is lower.
The cost of running it is quite low. Because for instance, you're buying a Range Rover of 2000.
Even rich people are complaining of the range.
You understand? Yeah, like you can go to several big houses to see that the Range Rover is parked. But if I'm getting a Range Rover and a Corolla, the popular Corolla we call the Corolla Uber, like that's 2005, 6, 4 Corolla. The price of the used one and the Range Rover may almost go the same. So for the first time owner, you might be tempted to let me show my village people that I have arrived. So you're going for the Range Rover, but I'm going on to maintain the vehicle. You see that the Range Rover could cost you to change the shock like 400,000, while the Corolla to change the shock could be like 25,000. So you might have the aesthetics appeal, but it's draining you. So you see such car owners in less than a few months, they are complaining about cars and their park. See, my brother, let me tell you from experience and my sisters, for you to have a car problem, I prefer better to have a bad wife at home. Because
what a comparison.
Yeah.
Like okay, I think someone once said that having a bad car is like the devil has finally stopped chasing you. The devil is now with you. Because it's like the devil is resident in your home. Your mechanic would be like your second wife, or if not your first wife.
By the time you go there 1, 2, 3 times, you pack a vehicle, the guy got that pepper soup, say, okay, don't come again. You notice you don't enter trouble. So just always stick within your budget and do that self-analysis. Know what you can afford. Don't go beyond your budget, please.
Do not go beyond your budget. And you said something, you might be caught up with the aesthetics. That's okay, let me go for what looks more appealing on the outside. But I think people will always say, don't mind the body, mind the engine. It's what is inside that's
of course, because we are finding that there are some cars that are quite popular with people, and then you see that every household has the same car. That tells you a lot. But you see other vehicles that are on a spectrum, as in on the luxury spectrum. You see with people, but you hardly see them driving it. So first-time car owners should always ensure that, please, don't troubleshoot, like go beyond what you can afford. Just always stay within what you can afford. If you think you're getting the Tokumbo is going to be, that is a foreign use, like the American use or the European use, go with that. But if you can't afford that and you want a Nigerian use, liaise with your mechanic, and if you have a good dealer as a friend, he can educate you more about that, and then he can tell you about the kinds of cars that you could afford with the budget you have, so that you don't go above what. Because everybody wants. In fact, let's be real and honest. Who know like better thing.
Everybody.
So, but in the course of that, don't ensure that you don't go and bite more than you can chew. Always stay within what you can afford.
Okay, so if you're aspiring to be a first-time car owner, first-time car buyer, this program is for you. Today's episode of Top Gear is partially designed for you. Remember, I said that 2026 is going to be raining cars. I don't know who I'm speaking to this afternoon. I don't want to be prophetic, but I'm trying to be motivational because I see that a lot of people have been saving towards that, and I'm just hoping that you get to achieve your dreams. But at the same time, you need to invest that money wisely, and that is why today we have an expert here. I'm talking about Mr. Kohol of Kohol Motors Limited. He's right here in the studio this evening talking to us about what you need to know, your guide, like the information kits that you need to have, the must know that you need to have before going into that dealer shop. If it's something you're interested in and you want to ask him questions, he has a bit of time. Call us on 090-7353-0044 or send us a message on WhatsApp 090-9705-4450 to be a part of the show this evening. And yes, you can always catch up in case you're at the office and you cannot make a call. Just type your message and I'm definitely going to send it to him later. Okay, now sir, let's talk about some mistakes that in your experience you've discovered that first-time car buyers make. What are some of those mistakes? If you could just hit the nail on the head.
Sometimes I think most of the mistakes they make is like I've spoken about being careful. Sometimes some of them are too careful. Like there's that indecision. And then we're gonna talk to my wife, then we're gonna talk to my pet turtle, then we're gonna do this. So, but sometimes some dealers could be a little bit pushy. But if you see what comes close to, I'm speaking to mostly those who are getting Nigerian news. Like some could say, like I've interacted with some first-time buyers who have gotten like a good Nigerian use for, because I could see their budget, and then most of these cars, because they're not brand new, if something, in fact, it's only brand new cars that you can walk up to the mat and say, I want it in blue, in black, and this, that they get it from the factory. But if you are buying it, like if it's a foreign use, a local use, you don't have that luxury. So sometimes you get them what is close to what you feel is within their budget, and then it feels mechanical wise, it feels what they could handle. Then they are quite particular. I want the blue color, I want the pink of that, I want this in my mind. So with that, there's hesitation. And then when you're getting cars, I've come to understand that you're not just dealing with the buyer. Some of them have friends who have opinions, some of them have families who have opinions, and then they're not expert. So you're having to not just have to talk to the potential buyer, you're having to convince him about what you might have heard from a particular friend or someone, and no. But most of the times, they're coming from the knowledge of a novice.
Okay.
Like, you don't understand what you're talking about. And then I've also observed there's a trend growing now that's quite good from the people with higher purchasing power.
Okay.
Those are buying luxury cars now. They're no longer buying from dealers on the mat now, so they're importing themselves.
Okay.
So I have a friend who just imported a car himself directly, but he discovered that after landing the vehicle in Lagos, the amount he paid was far more than what he could have purchased
just
in Abuja here.
Tough.
But that's what I'm saying, like, leave experts to do what they do. Like, it's not everything, because sometimes people who import these vehicles, because they're importing them as in they imported these vehicles over the years, they have tax clearance and tax reductions. So the cost of a dealer bringing a vehicle will be way cheaper than what you will go and buy. So please, like I said earlier, do your due diligence, and if you go to the car mart, not just giving the dealer money, you also have a test drive. Go for a test drive, feel the vehicle, like check out the paperwork, make some calls. Like for the used vehicles, like I said, it's very, very important. Before you purchase any Nigerian used vehicle, ensure that you are in touch with the previous owner and you know the history. Very, very important, so that you don't go fall into hands of people, because a lot of people might just, and sometimes the cases are quite bizarre. Like, I don't want to speak so much on air, but if I tell you one of the cases we have had to handle, a man bought a car for the wife.
Okay.
the vehicle was registered in the wife's name, but somehow the man's number was there. So I think the wife and the man had issues, so the wife bought the vehicle to sell so that she could exit. So as my friend bought the vehicle, paid to the woman's account because he saw the name on the registration was tallying with the account he was supposed to pay into. So he did not bother calling anymore. So I think the next buyer wanted to get the car from him, now had to call to confirm, only for the man to say that because the vehicle was in the woman's name, but the number on the vehicle was the man's phone number.
Wow.
So as in the next buyer getting it from my friend now called the number to confirm, only for the man saying the car was stolen. And we didn't know that he didn't have issues with the wife, so automatically the man was highly placed, so he just arrested the whole people, the buyer and everyone. So it was after days we got to realize that it was actually a family affair. So there are so many cases like that. So due diligence, like I said, always do your homework thoroughly. And then for the foreign use vehicles, it's easy. Get the VIN number. I'm repeating it again so that you know the accident history, the chassis number. Get the VIN number, put it on Google search it. That's as in that way you get the entire history of the car, where it was auctioned, the former owner in the America, and the company that shifted to Nigeria, and where it was cleared in Lagos, so that you know the history. So except it's brand new. They're brand new. You can walk in, you pay. If you take your money, you're driving your.
You're the first owner.
You're the first owner.
Okay, now just for, of course, this is for the for people who have never owned cars. The show is for novices. So how do you get to distinguish a car, a Nigerian used car, and a foreign used car? Is it by the history? You know, sometimes they could alter it and everything. So how do you get to know? What if? Just in the case of the what ifs.
This is where it gets a little bit tricky. That's why I always advise have an expert opinion, someone you can trust, because getting if I understand your question correctly, is about the authenticity of the vehicle.
Yes, whether it's used in Nigeria or abroad.
So that VIN number will also serve you a lot, like earlier mentioned, because if you input the VIN number, it now gives you the idea the time the car left America. So a car that has been in Nigeria for like 2 years, you could know that obviously it might have been used, or maybe it has not been sold for a while. But there's some vehicles that were imported and were like on demurrage, that is, the duty was not paid on time. So in fact they had extended stay at the seaport and all. So it's found that some vehicles stay up to a year. So I think for a foreign used car, the easiest way you can distinguish is to know when the car came in, and that could be determined only by the custom duty. Then one thing we have come to realize lately that is becoming a trend among some unscrupulous elements amongst us is due to the high cost of import duty. Now what some people have resorted to doing is some cars, paying duty on them alone could land up to like 10 million, and then so just the duty minus the purchasing cost and landing cost. So what some people do now, but it's not common, but you find it's becoming quite increasing. It's quite alarming and distressing. Some of those people, the bad elements, they just go get. You could import, let's say for instance, now you're importing the GLE 2018, the Mercedes. Those are the high brand vehicles that people go for now, and then most people intend to like cut corners, and the duties are quite expensive. So if you're getting a GLE 2018, for instance, now the dealer might bring it to the back door, like, you know, drive it through the bush, not pay duty from Lagos, drive it through the Sahara Desert and bring it into town. So what they do is that they have collabo with some of these agents. They now copy a similar chassis of that same vehicle that was duly cleared in Lagos. They now kind of like replicate it, remove theirs on the door side and on the window and all those areas. In fact, I was a victim of this. One time I didn't know, I had to like send money to somebody to buy this for me, but on getting it, because you want to keep in like maintain your brand, I got it, I complained back, and I had to revert it back to the original state, but I had to sell it at a loss because the duty is about 8 million, and then if you're selling a vehicle to someone, what betide you, the person goes down where there are custom officers on the road and he's arrested, and custom has made that non illegal. It comes with like a fine or a jail term. So, but it was a practice now, but I think it's reducing. So, but even we sometimes we miss it. But that's why you need to be extra careful on getting some of these vehicles. That's why I say it's good to go to a mechanic. Like for instance, I have my own machine now, because some of these things could be altered by the doors or by the physical appearance. But once you have your scanner, you pick it, the whole chassis vehicle, nobody the vehicle comes out.
Wow, it's that advanced?
Not really advanced, because some of these scanners are quite cheap, like 50k, 60k. Because I do this, I had to get one so that I will not fall victim. So if you have people like that, our mechanics also have computers or their shops now. It doesn't cost that much. Of course, there are those higher computers for scanning vehicles like 500,000, 1 million. But you could get the basic ones of 80,000, 90,000. So they just get a basic info. Like for instance, there's what we call the catalyst converter.
Okay.
People know it as Indomie. Yeah, that's what they call it on the vehicle. So it actually helps with the combustion of the vehicles, and for some reason people say that it also reduces the fuel consumptions, although there is no scientific fact to that. But you find out that most of the mechanics of Panabitas or people working at the wharf steal all these things. It's in the exhaust, and it's quite expensive.
And people steal that a lot. I hear people steal
keep
it
stealing
a lot.
it. If you're not careful with the vehicle, you lose it too. But if you're getting a vehicle and you have your own computer, that's the only way you could know whether your Indomie or there's a catalyst converter was tampered with or not. So you can't know it all. Just get someone who knows what he or she is doing. Then I believe you will not fall victim to any of these scrupulous practices out there.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kohol of Kohol Motors Limited, for coming to us here on Top Gear on Eagles FM Abuja. In fact, everything you've said is like an entire masterclass for free, and we cannot say thank you enough. It means a lot to us, and I want to believe that for everyone out there who's aspiring to be a first-time car owner, every information that you've listened to here and maybe you get to catch up later would help you in one way or the other. And like you've heard him, he said that expert advice is very important. Do not just save up money and then go out to go and buy a car because you feel like you want to buy a car. You should consult people, but at the same time there is need for balance, for moderation, because sometimes you might over listen to people and you just end up making an irrational
Don't
decision.
go talking to your wife or your younger brother who just knows nothing. But if you have people around you can trust, because even mechanics, for instance, there are times we have seen that mechanics have come to help customers verify vehicles, but they call you by the sign that, "Oh, got anything for me," or "I will spoil the show for you." And we have lost clients like that severally due to the fact that
so
we cannot settle
happens
behind the back. Yes, because your mechanics can go there and are like, "Oh, guy, if you don't give me like this." There was a case of
they would say the car is not good, say that the person won't buy it.
or maybe the car has an little issue that they think they can help fix, but because you don't give them what they expect, they will now say that, "Oh God, this car is bad, let me go and get you another one." So it happens like that. So you just have to also be careful, because some of these people who you think you trust can also mislead you. So like I said, the easiest way out of this is just get a computer and scan your vehicle and know what you're getting yourself into.
Okay, and that is where you need to go to the right dealers. Do your due diligence so that you are on the right side of history. Money is not easy to come by, and imagine you putting in so much savings and then you don't make one mistake. I think we have a call coming through. Call us on 0909 705 4450 to be a part of the show this afternoon, this evening rather. 0907353044. Okay, we have a message here on Facebook. Ozo Francis Namani says he's watching live from Amagunze in Enugu State. Good afternoon, my people in the studio, and keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Mr. Ozo Francis Namani, all the way from Enugu State. Remember, you can catch up on this episode later on our Facebook and our YouTube pages, right here on Eagles FM. It is Top Gear. Okay, so Mr. Cole, finally, before we let you go, what is your last take on this matter, or in summary, what would you say? What is that thought-provoking piece you want to leave for anyone that might come across this discussion later, or anyone who's listening to us right now?
Okay, the conversation has been getting your first car. So my advice for first-time car owners is still pretty much the same. Always ensure that you take your time and inspect the car you intend to buy thoroughly. If it's the foreign use, what we call the Tokumbo or the bedroom, you should ensure to get the chassis number. Run it via your Google browser or your internet browser. Just copy it as it is. Sometimes it comes with serial numbers up to like 16 digits. Copy that. It's by the door side where you see the manufacturer in here, say the VIN or the chassis number. Copy it, paste it on your Google engine. In fact, you can do that for the used cars as well, so that you know the history from abroad, whoever used it, and then how long it's been imported and how long it's been on the road. So that gives you a clear idea of what you're buying and what you're getting yourself into. So you copy that number, put it on your Google search engine or any other search engine you have, then it brings out the history of the vehicle, whether it was fatally accidented or it was stolen or flagged down from anywhere. That gives you like a clear picture. Then understanding your budget. Don't go looking for what you know you can't afford. Some cars could be good, but you'll be overstretching yourself and you can't maintain them. So always be realistic with yourself. Look at your income. Some cars could be within the same range of what you're proposing to buy, but you should always ensure to understand that can you maintain what you're buying. Like I said, for instance earlier, the Range Rover, the prices with some other Toyota variants are almost the same, but if you get that maintenance could like take you back home to the village, you'll get the Toyota or whatever, you could still stay afloat. And then ensure for those who are buying the Nigerian used vehicles, ensure to reach out to the previous owners via phone numbers or whatever means possible. Have someone reach out to them and confirm, are they selling their vehicle? Because I have cases, some family cases, entangled inheritance cases that we have experienced as well. Like I've shared some couple of experience here as well.
Yeah.
Like as in husband and the wife who were no longer together, and the wife, so the vehicle became an issue that lacked for days, if not weeks. I have several cases like a father got a car for his son who wanted to sell and do drugs, and after I get that vehicle, the father comes back and it's like crazy. So always ensure you do your homework and know what you're getting yourself into. And then finally, you check out for the interior. For that, I'm a bit when it comes to like the status of the vehicle. Like if you're getting a foreign use, you'll be lucky to get something quite clean. It serves you, and you're not bothered about the interior and exterior, because at least you believe it's almost new. That's the only thing you can get close to new here.
Okay.
Then for the used vehicles as well, I'm always keen about the interior, because the interior you can't change for vehicles. The interior of the vehicle, because it's, for instance, the dashboard is bad, and then some things, those are like things you hardly change in vehicles.
Okay.
But if you are getting a vehicle that is, let's say, the body is still okay, the movement is still okay, and the interiors are okay, and the engine is not too okay, you might want to price it down so that you can be able to afford an engine. But if you get a vehicle that has good engine that you can replace easily, or a gearbox that can be replaced easily, and it has a bad body or a bad interior, that will take you more time, if not irreplaceable. So yes. Okay. And then ensure to drive the vehicles to a certain state it's in, and check the paperwork. Drive it, have someone who knows more cars are more than you to also have a test drive with you and give you better advice.
So that means you need to know how to drive first before you go.
So when you buy a car if you can't drive,
people that okay, maybe they don't know how to drive yet, but they want to own a car because they have the money at that point. Maybe they want to buy before they learn.
That's a good one, because there's a story of someone who was, I think, an American CEO, who was too broke to own a car, then became too rich to drive a car. So except you're one of those cases, then of course we're always still happy to deal with you. We'll still advise you. You can chauffeur you around town. You can have a driver. It's still good, but I mean,
it's advisable, the start, you should know how to drive.
Yes, at least if you're not too rich, but if you're too rich, we can still buy you the Range Rover and the G-Wagons and the Lamborghinis for you to be driving in. It's fine. But if you're getting a car, it's good you should learn how to drive your car, because then again, how do you even get the first-hand experience to be able to know what you're getting yourself into?
Okay, sorry, I just remembered something about this mileage thing. There's some misconception about it. How do you get to know the mileage of your vehicle? Some people say sometimes it's manipulated. Some people say sometimes it's not what it seems like. If you could just explain it in a few minutes so that.
Okay, for mileage, that is the odometer, what you see on the dashboard, like. And for the people selling cars abroad, that is what they use to ascertain the price of their vehicles, because a car that has a low mileage signals that the car has been used, like barely driven, because the mileage below 50,000 miles could be that the car was barely driven. But any mileage above 100,000, even if you're shopping from America or the European markets, the prices are quite different, but it could be clean. But sometimes mileage does not really matter, but the mileage tells you how long the cars have gone.
Okay.
But it also depends on the user who uses it over there, because you're not buying them brand new. Like an average mileage is like 90,000 to 80,000. And like you rightly said, there have been some cases of mileage being doctored. It's quite common now, because sometimes they bring in these vehicles and they're like the mileage is about 200,000, about 150,000, about to 200,000. People want to just, they cannot pay someone to like 20k. You know, these computer guys now, they just come do their thing, they bring it down. But that is in the market now. It's quite difficult to tell. But then again, if you do that VIN search I mentioned earlier, you'll be able to get the original mileage that came with the car from America, so that if somebody reduced anything, you could know that this mileage has been doctored. Because by the time you input that VIN on your Google search engine, you'll be able to get every detailed information about the vehicle. I don't know if I could show you something on the sample of it here on my phone.
Just that I would be the only one to see, they might not be able to see it, sir.
But by the time you input that VIN number, the chassis number, you get every detailed information about the vehicle, the original mileage that came with it and stuff. But people reduce mileage. It's not something that is good, but
it happens.
It happens. So.
And that's why you have to be careful. You have to know where you're going to get your car. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kohol of Kohol Motors Limited, for joining us today on the show. It's been an amazing time learning from you and also listening to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. It was nice having me on today, and then, of course, doing sure to listen to this wonderful FM. It's been an opportunity, a wonderful opportunity which you here this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you for making our time to join us right here. Okay, listener, here we have it. It's about owning a car for the first time. Yes, so much of money, at least in this part of the world, we already know our struggles. You have to budget, save, and all of that. And the truth is, the first car you own can either make your life easier or make it stressful, depending on the choices you make before and after you buy it. And that's why it's important that you go to the right place. And I just want to say that there are some questions that you need to ask yourself, that as you're getting this car, hope you can live with it, hope you can drive it, hope you can maintain it. It's not just about the aesthetics. Go for the quality, what is in it. I'm hoping that you get to make the right decisions, because before you post on the gram, before you say congratulations to yourself on your new car, hope it is not the car that you drive today and then you pack tomorrow. And I'm hoping that your mechanic does not become your first wife or your first husband. Thank you very much, and keep listening to Eagles FM Abuja. And remember to drive safely. Please always wear your seatbelt. Remember that road safety is a love language. Yes, remember, there is always someone at home waiting for you. Even if you don't have anyone waiting for you at home, I'm here. I'm waiting for you. And I'm hoping that you get to listen to Eagles FM. So always drive safely. Thank you for always listening to Eagles FM. 102.3 FM Abuja, your number one radio experience you can always count on. The next time we'll be coming back here on Top Gear. Is it going to be a new year? I'm not very sure. But whatever the case may be, I'll reconnect with you on Tuesday again on Eagles FM Abuja, talking about Top Gear. And this will be a wrap for me on the Sunny Side Show. I'll be with you tomorrow on the Eagles Morning Rise Show at exactly 7 o'clock. Remember to join Udwak and I as we take you around everything that is happening in not just Nigeria, but of course the world. Keep listening to Eagles FM. Bye for now.
Eagles 102.